Hello everybody, Thetymix here, back with more of AI War Fleet Command. It's time to start a new game, and this is, of course, going to be Vanilla Standard. Let's get a look at what that's going to be like, but first I want to take a look at some of the stuff we achieved in the beginner walkthrough. Under the achievements, we've got Control 2, Control 5, Control 15. That's for non-home planets in a single game. We got a couple for saving up energy. Got a first victory. That's pretty basic on any difficulty. Then we've got points totals. We'll get to that in a moment, but points as they're calculated here are irregardless of difficulty. So that's probably one that's not that exciting. Got a couple of them for scrap. I need the scrap and didn't like the look of them because I got rid of at least 1,000 of my ships. I like this. Why'd you even build them? Some of the titles of these achievements are pretty humorous. So then length of the campaign, we went over the 10-hour mark, so we got the nearing the end achievement, and there are more. We'll probably eventually see those. Winning on 80 planet map, a tank buster for beating a tank AI, turtle soup for beating the turtle AI, and let's see, I think there's one more. Maxed out resources. You see there's a ton of them. There's over 300 achievements. We got 17. Lots of work to do, and I won't be coming close to getting all of them. Some of them are based off of, like, stuff that's in the expansions and whatnot. So, anyway, there's that. Then we got our high scores. And here's the adjusted score. And that's more of an indication of how well you did. AI War has never really gotten a competitive... So you've got the map seed if anybody else wanted to play on that map. We've got your score divided by your time. That's another way to look at it. And then our raw score is just over 3 million. The reason why the adjusted score is just over 500,000 is largely because of the difficulty. The more difficult thing is and you more optional hard add-ons you put on, the higher that'll go. Our kill ratio was 352%. Our opponents, we killed 27,000 enemy ships. Not bad. And then it shows all the other settings that you used. So we'll take a look at this after each game and, see how it progresses over the course of my journey through AI War. But let's get this going. Alright, expansions, again, all still off. No setup script. And we're going to switch to the realistic map style. Let's just throw a new seed up there. Okay, that's the map that we're going to go with. And let's take a look at our opponents over here. Now, first of all, we're going to go to random moderate. That way, we're going to have one of the moderate types, these down here. But we're not going to have the game tell us which one it is. And then we're also going to bump these up to normal. And as we talked about before, difficulty 7, or the standard or normal difficulty, means that, it's going to be increased resistance in terms of numbers, but also basically all of the AI tricks are unlocked. There are some AI structures that they don't get below level 7, and I think there might be a few more things that kick in level 8, but 7 is pretty much the standard. Okay, you're playing the real game now. This is going to be different. This is not going to be the kind of walkover the last one was. I still hope to win. We'll see if I'm good enough to do that or not, but you're definitely not going to crush them as much as you would on level 5. Okay, ships. Now we're going to change from only having the, I believe, dozen or 13 or however many bonus ship types to using almost all of them. And I think overall, this is going to mean that there's going to be a handful, maybe 8 or so of new ship types that we're going to see. I'm not going to do complex with all of them. We're just going to go up to normal. So there's a half a dozen there that we still won't see. We're going to turn on all of this stuff. And some of this relates to the expansions, but also we've got teleporting ships and parasites and things like that that are going to be new to this run. Game options, we're going to switch to the normal combat style, sticking with the normal unit cap. Going to stick, of course, with full fog of war. Okay, now minor factions. We're going to click on all those too. Now 4 out of 10 is the default level, and anytime in this series that I run in adding a new minor faction, I'm going to start it at that default level so that we can get, a sense of what the baseline experience is. Now, the Marauders are hostile human vagabonds who live in deep space. They'll occasionally raid human or AI planets via traditional propulsion methods and thus come in from the edge of a system, not a wormhole. So they're unpredictable, and they could attack human or AI planets, so they could be a bonus to us or they could be a negative. Human resistance fighters, pockets of human allies, still live in deep space around AI planets. When they see you attacking the AI, sometimes they'll reveal themselves and join you. Okay, so this looks like mostly a positive one. And human colony rebellions. Most human settlements have been destroyed or completely subdued, but every 5 or so hours, one will rise against the machines. However, these civilians are always outmatched, despite their enthusiasm. If you do not help them take back their planet, they will die and the AI progress will go up. Save them, and their unique ship production facilities are yours to use. Only works on planets with 30, or maps with 30 plus planets. Okay, so again, those two could go either way. The resistance fighter is probably going to be helpful. AI modifiers, I'm not going to have any of these on since I'm going for standard, but you can make it harder or easier by changing basically the number of waves. I can reveal which random AI types. A lot of people like to pick a random AI but then know what it is. I prefer to not know and just, react as they expose what they're doing. You can double or halve their enemy waves. Schizophrenic makes them mix up the types of ships they send in waves. That's one I'll be using in the future, but not yet. So on. Okay, Auto-AI progress. This is a huge one. Now I'm going to go with the standard amount here. And this is something that basically most players don't do. The standard amount is 1 every 5 minutes. You basically won't see someone playing on a really high difficulty at this setting. Why? Because it really changes things. Now the last one took 10.5 hours. So if you figure in how much more this would have gained us, well, it's over 120. Instead of having, like low 300s AIP at the end of the game, we would have had mid 400s. I mean, that would have made a big difference, even on level 5. And on the higher difficulties, people tend to play by keeping the AI progress really low to be successful. And most people can't even do it then. But so getting an extra 12 AI progress per hour, or every 2 hours, less than 2 hours, is equal to taking an extra AI planet with the 20 you get from that. You can look at it that way. It makes a big, big difference. So the combination of this and the increase in difficulty, this is going to be a much more challenging game. And then AI plots. I'm going to put 3 of these on, but not the 4th. I'm going to put Avenger on, Counterpost, and Warp Relays. Now the Avenger basically means when you take out that command station, it's going to spawn a massive space station that will head straight for your human worlds to destroy them. So it's this huge, basically moon or Death Star thing that's going to come after you. We're going to skip Astro Trains. These things are a pain in the butt, and it's been said that the only really good way to deal with Astro Trains is not to click the button and enable them. So, yeah, we're just going to leave that for a future game. We are going to add counterposts, and when we take those, they will send a wave that comes in from the edge of the planet, not from a wormhole, making them harder to defend against. So it's basically taking those out is an automatic wave generator. And that's going to make those planets that have them much more dangerous to handle. And then warp relays, they can send waves at you from further away. And you can see the range in hops is AI's tech level +1. So when they build these, they can send them deeper into your territory. Building a defensive crust is not nearly as effective. Of course, we can do raiding to take them down. But nonetheless, this is going to be an option for the second AI. So we're going to see all of these except for the Astro Trains. And that's pretty much our setup. One thing I want to say about the planet names. You can't see them here. But once we get in, there was a suggestion made, and I want to thank them for that. I think it's a good idea to use a custom planet names file. So I'll be doing that. Archandra was nice enough to give me his version, and then I edited that out some. So what the result is there's some Star Wars names, a bunch of real-world bodies like, the planets of the solar system, asteroids, moons, etc. And then also a bunch of them, a couple dozen of them, are names of people from the Something Awful forums. And I cut the list down at the end to about twice as many as we're going to need so that things will come up pretty regularly, but we're not going to be seeing everything, all the same names every game. So I wanted to choose a balance between getting all the names in there pretty regularly, but not having repetitive, same every time. So there we go. Let's get this show on the road. And of course, rule number 1 is pause immediately. We've got Deimos. That's our home system. Let's take a quick look around. Here we are, and it looks like we've got 4 systems nearby. Ixion, Quair, Sharon, and Frozenzen. So we wanted to take a look at those and move further out eventually. And everything here is the same as we saw it before, with a couple exceptions. One, we've got a mercenary space dock automatically, and that's just based on difficulty level. At the higher difficulty levels, it gives you this. Mercenary ships are more expensive than their non-mercenary counterparts, but have a much larger ship cap. And let's take a look at that. For example, this is a mercenary fighter. Costs 24,000, but we can build up to 288. It says identical to the standard fighter Mark IV. Okay. And we've got different ship types, so we could consider those. And they're advanced ships. You know, we could build those right away if we really need a combat force that's going to be better than what we have. But generally, I'm going to try to stay away from those for economical reasons. Now, we also got all this stuff down here. We've got a couple of home human settlements. And these are basically what remains of your people. But in the actual purpose that they serve is to give the AI something to shoot at. Plus 5 AI progress. But they also give you 50 metal. So that's sort of a trade-off. And these produce energy, the cryogenic pods, but they also give AI progress. So that's sort of it really isn't a positive, because it just makes it that much more important to protect what you have to start out with. Our usual command station, force field, research, so on. Okay, so what do we want to do first? Well, my priority is always going to be getting scouting done. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Mark II scouts, just 500 research. And then also for this game, I'm going to do a little bit of a different strategy based around focusing on the fortresses and economical command stations that you pretty much need if you're going to take that route. This is not the normal way I play, but I just want to try it because it's a different strategy and it's much different than what I used last time. We want to get the economic orbital command station Mark II right away. That's going to boost our salvage. It's going to boost our energy production. And if you're going to do this, you might as well invest in it right away. 4,000. Because what that's going to do is give us the fold-out version here. And then I also like to build up 10 of my standard engineers right away. I'm going to want this space dock, first of all, to cycle through and get all of the scouts that I can get. I'm not going to build any ships yet. Combat ships, that is. I just want to get those done. And of course, this is my other 2 Scout Mark IIs that you start out with. I'm going to send those up there. So I want to get that built immediately, and then I'll get those scouts sent out. And there's our first one. And I'm just going to send this one and just stick it in orbit here so that we've got the 1 scout on the homeworld. And oh my, that's fun. We've got an exo-galaxy wormhole in our home system. This is a very unfortunate draw. There's one of the medium AI types that does this. So we cannot prevent, for the rest of the game, we can't prevent the AIs from using this and putting ships down directly on our home system and right on top of this metal harvester to add into that. And it's not that far away from our command station. So that's going to be a serious problem. And we're going to have to deal with that defensively soon. Not yet, but soon. Because you do have that grace period at the beginning of the game, about 5 minutes, For the hardest difficulties, we had about 15 last time. I'm expecting about 10. So we don't need to be ready until the clock hits 10 minutes. But nonetheless, that's going to be a serious issue. And frankly, it's one of the most annoying AI types to deal with because you can never get rid of that bone in your throat. Okay. In any case, let's just proceed. And there's our fold-out station. Yep. Okay, here's our next Mark 1 scout. Now I just want to send one out to each neighboring system as we get them, because we know that these are all going to be Mark 2 systems. So we know that those are just going to be able to go out. These usually don't have tachyon guardians. You can just, or tachyon sentinels. You can just have them go out and pick at those systems. So I want to do that as we get those done. There's another one. And of course, I'm being very cautious and careful on this and trying to do everything pretty precisely here. I do not want to dink around with this game. There we go. And now we've got the 4 of them going out if I've done this right. And I have each of them going out to the 4 wormholes. Now I'm going to wait for the rest of these to build. Okay. And then I'm just going to let this metal store up. I could start building other things, but I don't know what I need to build yet. So I want to scout until I've scouted to the point where I am 2 hops away. So I want to scout V-Date here. I want to scout Calypso and so on. I want to be 2 hops away from my home world, and that way I'll know which of these 4 I want to expand to first. And I want to get out to that as quickly as possible, but first I've got to do the scouting. Okay, so let's just send this group over to Cato Nemoida. We could use anything, but that's what I'm going to do here. And I sort of screwed that up, so I'm going to get this back together. It's very easy to forget to do the, the group move. G key is your friend. And they would have had to wait for the Mark 1 scout, so I didn't lose much time there. And here we go. There's only one of these left. Of course, I always leave the wimpiest scout behind if I can. Now let's move back. Yeah, let's get over to Tethys. And I think I set up this right to be producing more scouts, didn't I? Yep. So it's replacing all the ones that I'm losing. And I don't know if we can get any further, but we're going to try. Let's see, where would I want to go to next? Well, that's an answer. Looks like we made it. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to send one of these. And I'm just going to get rid of the other one. So now we've got everything connected to Quayer. And now we need to head out to some of these other branches. Probably there will be next. It's like a Mark III planet here. How exciting. And only one of them got through. What do you know? Okay, so we're done. It took about 3.5 minutes to do that. And if we're fast, then we can mount an attack on one of our systems here. We can see Karen. We've got a Mark II here, but this is a Mark III. So we'd have to irritate a Mark III if we took that system. This one, both Mark II systems. So that's probably a good option. This is both Mark II systems, probably another good option. This has 2 Mark III systems, probably definitely not a good option. So we're looking at initial, possibilities. It seems that Ixion and Quayar are our best choices. And there's actually 3. Because off this one we've got Tethys, Kato Nemoda, and Palma. There's 3 metal here. And 5 metal here. It's an E-secondary core shield generator. It's only got an MLRS post Mark 1. I mean, to me, that just screams that it's the best target. Now, it does have a force field. And let's see where that is. It is, of course, over the MLRS. So that's unfortunate. But the MLRS does not have an anti-bomber bonus. So definitely bombers would be good for taking this down relatively quickly. So that's going to be our target. We've gone long enough for this first episode. But moving forward, we're going to want to take Ixion first, and then we're going to want to set up defenses in the more, shall we say, advanced style for dealing with whatever the first AI attack wave is. We've got our basic view of the early surrounding systems, and we'll take a closer look at those later. But for right now, we're not really too concerned with that. We just want to initially boost our economy a little bit, get that first system that we're going to want to take soon anyway, and then switch into defense. So that'll be coming up next time. Thanks for watching AI War Standard Vanilla Game. We'll be returning soon.